Okay, what's up, YouTube? Today, we're talking about ADHD because I am diagnosed with ADHD. I want to talk about it because I feel like the internet kind of glorifies it and like, what's the word? Emphasize? I think that's the word. Emphasize it? No, that's not the word. I think it is. They kind of glorify it, make it seem like it's some like quirky habit or like something fun to have when it's not. This shit is genuinely terrible. I'm scared half of the time that the people close to me are gonna feel like I don't care about them, or have like, or just don't feel like I don't feel like they're important in my life because I tend to forget. They ask me to do something, I will forget if I'm not reminded or if I don't write it down. I don't remember most people's birthdays, and it makes me feel terrible because it's not because like I don't care about your birthday. It's just the fact that I my brain doesn't categorize things like normal people's brains does. I hyperfixate on things that like I just randomly hyperfixate on things. My brain prefers to store. Hold on. My brain prefers to store those things over the things that are actually more important. Just because I have an interest in them. And it fucking sucks. Like the only people like I only know a few people's birthdays by heart. Maybe like three or four. I barely can remember my mom's birthday. And it's not because I don't love my mom or care about her birthday. It's just that I'll remember and I'll forget when like I remember when it's time for her birthday. All year her birthday doesn't exist. If it isn't in, like if it isn't in front of me, it doesn't exist for a second until I am reminded of it. So I'll forget about it. And then it's time for her birthday again. Then I have to be reminded, not by her, normally by my cousins or parent, my dad or something, my grandma. But and then I'm reminded, and then I make sure I call her and spend time with her and stuff, you know? But it's just really hard. Like, it tends, it makes me feel like, well, it doesn't make me, my brain is wired differently than most people's. Um, but it's just hard to remember things, and it kind of sucks when you can't even remember where you put stuff 10 minutes ago, because you put stuff down and you forget, because you're not thinking when you're putting like you're not thinking of the thing that you're putting down when you put it down. So when you put it down, it no longer is in your head and no longer exists. So you walk away, you do something else, your brain thinks about other things, and you forget where you set that. So now I have to make designated places in my bedroom where I leave things. Like where I put my keys. I put my keys on this crocheted flower every time I come home. And it's to so I don't lose them. Because I lose my keys very easily. So I don't lose them. I keep my chapstick in my pockets, my jackets and pants pockets. So I always have chapstick when I leave out because I always forget it. Things like that. I write in my notes and in my journal. Hold on, it just fell. In my journal, notes. So when I open it up to like draw or write down things, I can see the previous thing I wrote down and reminded of it. Um, and that has gotten in the way of a lot of my friendships and relationships in the past. And it kind of sucks because it's not that I don't care about the needs of the other person. I do care. I care deeply. I tend to feel really deeply, especially about my relationships with people. It's just sometimes it's hard to remember. Um, I have for example, I have two friends that live out of town. They live in Tennessee, and if they don't text me or if I don't go on social media and see what they're doing, I tend to forget to contact them or to talk to them. And it's not because I don't care about them. It's just the fact that I'm genuinely thinking about other things and I'm not thinking. Like, I forget they exist. Like, it doesn't exist in my head until I am reminded that they are there. And it's not on purpose. It's not that I don't care. A lot of people tend to believe that people with ADHD just don't care or just are lazy, too lazy enough to remember. That's not the case. You remember a lot. It's just the fact that we don't remember the things that, like dates and stuff like that. It's hard. In order for me to remember a date, it has to leave an impression so hard that I can't forget about it. I remember my dad's birthday, and it's because I lived with him my entire life. So it's permanent in my head. I remember my ex birthday, and it's because I was with her for 3 years, and I wanted to make sure that she felt appreciated every year because I know that it's hard for me to remember to do things for her. So I wanted to make sure on those days that she was appreciated. Our anniversary I got that down packed, and it's because the day that I met her, it left a very distinct memory in my brain. So it's always there. So in order for me to remember something deeply, I will have to either have a hyperfixation on it, or it left an impression on me that changed my life in a certain way. And hyperfixations, a lot of people on the internet tend to they make hyperfixation seems like these things that are like really cool, but it's not cool when it gets in a way of you doing things that are important. Like, I have plenty of hyperfixations: Pokemon, anime, music. I love music. And that's another thing I want to talk about later. But when you're so hyperfixated on a thought or a memory or a person or a interest that it distracts you from doing homework or remembering to eat something. That's something I also have to remember, to actually eat. I tend to forget to eat. And it's to normal people that doesn't seem possible, but it is. If I'm not thinking, I'm actively working or doing other things or being productive, I don't remember. And it's not the fact that I'm like ignoring my hunger or like I have some eating disorder. No, it's just I'm genuinely not thinking of it. So I'm not hungry. And that can get like hyperfixating on things gets in a way of me being productive in my day-to-day life. And I'm starting to learn how to counteract it. And I want to talk about ways that I figured out how to live with ADHD, because I don't like taking medication. I took medication for a couple months. It just made me feel sick, and I also don't like taking drugs in the first place. I don't like when things change the way I think, and it also felt like it took away from who I was. Like, my personality felt duller. I didn't have the same energy that I always have, and I just was disassociated half of the time. And I know people say it comes with like experimenting with new and different medication, but I genuinely don't want to put my body through that. I want to figure out ways that I can think and function properly without having to rely on a drug. But see, I just forgot where I was at because I was hyperfixations kill productivity. Yes, they're cool to have something that you're really passionately into, but like for me, it's Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh and anime, music. But like, when you're trying to do homework and the only thing that you can think about is a person or music, like your favorite song, or like watching anime, or me wanting to play a video game because I'm hyper fixated on a certain video game at the time, it makes it fucking hard to do school. Um, Even though I'm able to keep good grades, I'm able to stay with honors. It comes with a lot of stress, a lot of headaches, a lot of stress. Like the stress is crazy sometimes. Because I'm actively forcing myself to do homework, for example. Like there's days where I'm so hyper fixated on something else. I'm trying to basically power through something while not thinking about it, or trying to stay focused on something while my brain is thinking about 10 different things at once. And that feeling is exhausting. Like I will get done doing homework and I just feel like I just got done running a mile. Like 10 miles. I want to go to bed. I want to lay down. I don't feel like doing anything else. Or I'm at work and I have to stay focused on working. I have to stay focused on my job. So by the time I get home, I have to stay focused on like conversations that I'm having with people in my day-to-day life. So by the time I get home, I'm exhausted. I don't feel like doing homework. I don't feel like doing anything. I just want to lay down and listen to music and drown out everything, like all the thoughts with music as loud as possible. And it's because there's so much happening in my head. The only thing that can bring silence is music. And it sucks. So it's not this like cool trendy thing to have ADHD. It shouldn't be treated as like something that will get you views. It's not. It sucks. There is plus sides to ADHD. Like I'm able to multitask very well. I can listen to music while doing homework. Like metal, I can listen to dubstep and all types of crazy genres. And it doesn't distract me from doing homework. And that's like one of the things that also helps me be able to do my homework is by listening to music, watching YouTube, or listening to a podcast. Because it allows my brain to stay focused on that while simultaneously focusing on something else so it doesn't mess up like the flow. Like I enter flow state, you know? And a lot of people don't talk about task paralysis when they're talking about ADHD, and it's because it's one of the hardest things to get past with ADHD. Task paralysis to me is when you get up, you know you have to be productive today, but you're stuck. You know you have to do this thing. You know if you don't do it, it's going to stress you out later, but you genuinely can't bring yourself to do it no matter what. And it's because your brain is thinking about everything, including doing the thing, but you just genuinely can't bring yourself to do it. And it's not laziness. It's not laziness or it's not laziness because you know you want to do the thing. You're trying to do the thing, but your brain physically won't allow you to think about the actual steps of doing the thing. You're thinking about the thing so much that you're not actually taking the steps to do the thing because you're thinking about the topic. So you're sitting there stuck trying to do it, and it exhausts you. So you're getting exhausted by thinking about doing a thing while simultaneously beating yourself up because you know that you have to get this thing done, but you can't bring yourself to do it. That feeling sucks. And it takes a lot to get in the motion of things. Where I've had to make a routine for me to be productive throughout the day. For example, I have to get up. First thing I do when I get up, check my cat. I check my phone for any emails, school emails, text messages, work text messages. And then I get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, listen to music, pace around in circles. I need to do that first because it helps gather my thoughts. Pace around in circles, listen to music. Start with a small task first. Like today, the small task was to get up, brush my teeth, shower, check on my cat, and then make a list of groceries and supplies that I needed to get for my apartment first. So that the making the list motivated me to actually leave the house to go to the store to get the supplies. I went to the store, got the supplies. Getting the supplies motivated me to come start up this recording. Then this recording is going to motivate me to post it on YouTube. And the excitement from posting it on YouTube is going to motivate me to go finish my other tasks throughout the day. So I have to like kickstart a chain of events in order for me to actually be productive throughout the day. And that fucking sucks. It sucks that I can't just get up and do things when I know I need to do them. I have to do like a whole cycle of things in order to get stuff done. I have to leave notes everywhere so I can remember to actually. Thinking about notes, I forgot I had a note right there and I don't know where it went. My cat probably knocked it down. But I feel like ADHD needs to stop being glorified on the internet, because the people who actually have it and aren't saying they have it because they've been self-diagnosed through TikTok, it feels like a jail cell for them. It gets in the way of their relationships. It gets in the way of their everyday productivity. It gets in the way of them living their life. And that sucks. And for a lot of people, it takes a very long time for them to learn how to get used to it. For example, I didn't know that I had it into the beginning of this year. Well, people told me that I had it, but I didn't believe them because I've never been told by an actual professional. Until my ex, she was a psychology major. She was the only one that I kind of was like, okay, maybe she's right. She actually studies this stuff. After we broke up, I actually went to go get a diagnosis. And that's when they told me that I had ADHD. And at first I tried different medications, didn't like them. So I've been trying my own way. And my method tends to work the best for me right now. But it's hard, dude. Like, a lot of people tend to not talk about the struggle of having ADHD, but the quirky side of having it. Yes, it makes me funny. Like, yes, it makes you have, like, it gives entertainment. It's a part of my personality and, like, the way I function. But it also hinders me in a lot of different ways, with connections, emotions, and stuff like that. No one talks about the overstimulation side of it also. I'm actively taking in so much information around me when I'm outside. Sometimes I can't be outside for a long period of time without having music, because I'm paying attention to so much shit, thinking about so much stuff that eventually I get exhausted socially and I don't want to talk anymore. And it sucks because it gets in the way of socialization. It gets in the way with having moments where you can just be outside having fun, you know? And that's not something. A lot of people tend to also glorify disassociation, which, yes, it's a coping mechanism. Sometimes it's a good coping mechanism, but it takes you out of reality. It helps you live with your reality, but it takes you out of your actual reality, and you're living in this fantasy world, and you're not being present in your actual life, and that can make your ADHD worse because it also makes your procrastination worse because you're living in a different reality in your head. So yeah, like, I just feel like TikTok, TikTok is actively messing up things for people who actually have ADHD. People who aren't taking it serious when it actually is a serious thing. Some days it's hard for me to even get out of bed, you know? And at first I thought it was just because of depression. But no, my depression came because of upbringing and my ADHD habits. I was beating myself up because I can't function like other kids. I can't do these things like other kids. So my ADHD didn't, it wasn't the super hyperactive ADHD that people have. What the fuck? Did I just see my coworker walk past my window? But that kids tend to have. Mine's was a lot of hyperfixations and attention issues. I tend to pay attention to things that weren't important, or daydreamed a lot. Stayed off task, but I wasn't super disruptive because I trained myself that the more disruptive I am, the worse things are going to be for me. The more I'm going to get in trouble. The more people are going to think I'm weird. So I didn't like being looked at as weird as a kid also, even though I knew I was. It's like, at the time, I was like the only kid. I'm from the hood, gang. From one of the worst neighborhoods in, like, my state. I moved out once I became an adult, but there wasn't many kids that watched anime or listened to rock and stuff like that. And that might be like, oh, it's not out of it just wasn't a popular thing back in the early 2000s. Yes, I am 24. It just wasn't a popular thing back then. So I would be called weird or different. I didn't like that. So I tend to mask my ADHD by trying to just be quiet. Be quiet, read my manga, draw my pictures, listen to music, and don't talk to no one. Don't mess with anyone. And that was my way of surviving back then. The older I got, the more destructive my ADHD got. The more it distracted me. Because I didn't know I had it. I was just living life thinking that I was just weird. I was just different than most people. Which I am, but like I'm in a good way. And now that I know that I have it, I can make steps to being productive and going to school and actually thriving in school. Like, I'm doing things that I didn't think I had the capability of doing. I changed my major into computer science. I didn't think I was going to have the fucking ability to computer science, and that's because math and all these other things, it made it, for example, it's hard for me to study math because I'm sitting there just looking at numbers and I'm thinking about other things. So I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. But I stopped telling myself that I can't do things. Like, you can't do things. No, I can. I just have to figure out how. And once I figure out how, I'll be able to just do it, you know? With ADHD, it's more about figuring out how to do it than figuring out, than just doing it. You have to first figure out steps that make you be able to do the thing before you're actually doing it. So when you do it, you have a step-by-step way of completing it and making sure you don't get sidetracked. Because I used to do a lot of projects and then would stop mid-project to do another project or do something else. And that is, you would never get anything done, you know? I made a lot of promises to people that I weren't able to complete because I started hyperfixating on something else. You will never be able to make deep connections with people if you're always not taking, you're never doing things that you've said that you would do because you forgot. And it's not completely your fault. It's hard, dude. It's hard to remember to do things when you have a mental disorder that causes your brain to just not prioritize those things. And it's rough. It gets tough. But it's more about surviving, you know? Hold on 1 second. What the fuck? But those things is tough, you know? So stop treating ADHD as if like they're just quirked out people. No, gang. They're people that are actively trying to figure out how to survive and how to stay productive in a world that isn't like created for them. School isn't created with people like in mind people who have ADHD. Um, so for okay. So it's hard for people who have it because it's not a system built for people who have it. Um, Work, how the Western society does work, like careers and stuff like that. It's not built for people who have ADHD. So they're actively making habits and ways to make it easier for them to survive in a climate that is not built for them. It's similar to people with autism. And it's possible to have ADHD and autism. Um, so stop treating it as if it's like this like fun thing, this funny thing. It's not. It's tough. Um, and for everyone, it doesn't show up like the same. A lot of people have the way they view ADHD is this hyperactive kid, but for a lot of people, it doesn't show up like that. Especially for women. Women with ADHD, it doesn't show up like the hyperactive. It the hyperactivity is tend to be more common in men, and little boys. But women tend to have a similar ADHD as I do. They tend to mask it very well, and it's because society treats them very badly when they have the symptoms of ADHD because it's normalized for boys to be hyperactive, rowdy, and a little, jittery, but it's not normalized for girls to act that way. So they tend to mask it very well. And since my environment as a kid wasn't accumulated for me, like I was the weird odd kid, I tend to mask it very well. I just wasn't productive, but I was able to mask it. But that masking also causes people to be extremely tired at the end of the day. But ADHD doesn't show up the same way in everyone. And yes, we all have hyperactive. Most of us have hyperactive tendencies. But some of us don't. Some of us is more of a attention problem. And so this also another issue with self-diagnosing ADHD is that ADHD shares a lot of symptoms as depression and anxiety and autism. So you can be diagnosing yourself with ADHD but be autistic actually, or you can be diagnosing yourself with ADHD but just be depressed, or just have an anxiety disorder. So self-diagnosing through TikTok is just fucking stupid. Don't do that, bro. It's not productive. Go see a professional. Self-diagnosing, you're not a fucking psychiatrist. You're not. The person on TikTok telling you they're not. So as somebody with ADHD, I can't even tell somebody they have ADHD. I can be like, you share symptoms with me, but I don't fucking know what you got, gang. I don't know you. Go talk to a professional, It causes a lot of people to misjudge their actual illnesses and causes them to take the wrong steps of helping themselves. And a lot of people don't have the money or support to go get a diagnosis, especially in America. Luckily, I have free healthcare. And I was able to go get it. But without the free healthcare, I would not be diagnosed. I probably wouldn't even actually know if I had it or not. So I've been talking for 30 minutes. There's another video that's going to come out tomorrow also. I'm going to be at the beach. I'm going to record at the beach with a friend. So, this video, I just wanted to talk about ADHD real quick because that's something I actively struggle with and has gotten in the way of a lot of my relationships with people, significant others, family, boom. And I feel like we glorify it through the internet, self-diagnose, and treat it as if this as if it's not an issue that's bigger than how we treat it small, like an issue smaller than what it actually is. A lot of people are out here struggling to actually survive and live their life properly, and they shouldn't have to. So, do your research, go see a professional, put TikTok down, and take your mental health seriously because it can lead you into dark places. Okay, but I'm ending it off here. Be kind, have fun, live your life. Bye.